Dikumana, keeping you company, and I've got you for the next 26 minutes. Listen, we were discussing the African youth and, of course, extending it to the global village, looking at the realities of 2035 and how we expected to have this 45% base of youth when it comes to the world population. Now, Africa's youth isn't just a waving stat, right? It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I believe this because if we are this agile, fresh-minded, eager to learn, open to new experiences, I believe with the right investment, education, and thinking, I think primarily we will be able to solve not just problems in the context of the African continent, but the world over. Joining us in studio is Willen Gous, entrepreneurial thinking expert, to unpack some solutions. Willem, people have been listening to you for the past 20 minutes talk about, oh my goodness, problem. Let's start with the solutions, right? I am a fan of the thinking methodology that you bring forth. It's very simple. It's very intrinsic, right? How do we begin that conversation with a youth that have been taught that outside you is more important than inside you?
That's a very good question. Let me start off by saying, although I've said in the previous segment, I've worked with the youth and they don't apply themselves. But let me tell you, there is a boatload of potential within the youth of Africa. A boatload. And I see it every time we unlock somebody. In the sense that they discover the potential within themselves. That's all. All that I do is I take into class a mirror and some fresh perspectives. And you're like, look at this. Look at who you truly are and can become. And I've been driven to tears so many times of what people have done in the most harsh of environments, the toughest environments. So yes, the youth have it in them. We just need to wake them up to that. And it's difficult. So the first way that we start that is to unceremoniously rip them out of the fantasy.
And what does that look like?
Well, I always ask people, how much money do you want to make in the next 12 months? And usually the guys are like 50,000, 100,000, and then the woman come like 1 million. The other one like, what? 2 million. The other one like 5 million. What are you doing? Now I'm a student studying what? A teacher. Wow. Okay, so that 5 million is not going to come very quickly.
Yeah.
But once you get them to see truly what life costs and what it takes to get something in life, they go, oh my word, I never thought that. You show to people just buying a 1 million rand house, which is not a lot of money in the greater scheme of things, is you pay that off, plus your levies, plus everything else. That is a good 17,000 rand a month that you're going to pay for the next 20 years.
Yep.
And although you're only borrowing 900,000, your total interest repayment, I think, is 1.9 million or 2 million that you pay back over the 20 years. And they're like, what? And then they realize, oh, this is what it really costs. I said, yeah, show respect for your parents. If your parents have 2 cars, you have food, you go to school, you have clothes, you live in an okay house, your parents are bringing home the bacon. So we rip them out of the fantasy and we get them, okay, so this is what life really means. If this is what you want, this is what it's going to cost. How much do you think is your repayment on a 1-year-old G-Wagon? Not a new one. Not the Brabus. Not the this, not the that. Just a G63 1-year-old. Looking at about 120,000 a month. Yes, that's over 4 years. That's after you put down a $500,000 deposit. Okay? And that doesn't include your insurance
Here
or
we
petrol
go. Yep.
or tires.
Yeah.
I don't want to change tires on that car.
Or servicing.
No. And so you need at least a salary of about 300,000 Rand a month.
To pay off 120,000 Rand.
A month, yeah.
Wouldn't that be strange, though? That's almost half your salary.
No, because half of your salary goes to tax, 45%.
Oh!
So that's 300,000 minus 45%. So you sit with 170, and after you've paid the car off and everything,
20,000.
you sit with about 30,000 to spare.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness.
So,
Oh, goodness.
how did that feel to you?
A bit too much.
A bit too much.
Yeah.
You should see the people in my class. They're like, how, Willem? This is tough. I go like, it's what life costs. You know, so suddenly you look at that Polo Vivo and you go like, I like this thing.
It's really pretty.
This is a pretty vehicle. I like this thing. Okay, so you start there.
Yeah.
And then it's all about perspective. If you take a normal tall glass and I show it to you and I ask you to draw it, you're going to draw a rectangle. But if I look at it from the bottom, I'm going to draw a circle.
Yeah.
I see a circle, you see a rectangle. Are we looking at the same thing? Absolutely. But it's a different perspective. And that's when we start opening their minds to how you look at something is only one way. There are many perspectives. Just like, is there one way to raise a child? No, but I can learn from you. I can learn from everybody who raises a child, and they can learn from me if I open myself to it. So then it shifts the perspective. So what you thought was true, and the only perspective, now you realize, okay, so we wake them up, rip them out of the fantasy, give them different perspectives. And then once, and specifically those perspectives are around funding. Do you need money to start a business? Do you need a detailed business plan, which is a fantasy document anyway, that you sucked out of your thumb?
Ooh, okay.
Let's be honest, because you're making predictions of the future. How's that working? When last did you watch the Weather Channel? Okay?
Oh, Willem,
So-
this is
so
getting personal.
That's not working. So it's a fantasy document. And then people start realizing, but hang on. And then we give them practical examples of how people overcome that. And it's a choice. And to you and all the listeners, if you're ever faced with a challenge or something you want to change in your life, or something, a change gets thrust onto you and you need to make an adjustment, ask yourself, what am I going to do? That is a very bad question. Like Dr. John DeMartini said, the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. And a good question to ask in this situation is, how might I? See, you can feel your subconscious going like, ooh, this is intriguing. Let's think about this. And then on top of that, then we teach them entrepreneurial thinking.
Sure.
Yes, so it is a process.
It is quite a process, but I do think it's one that we, and I say we as a cluster, as a conglomerate, as the entire globe, need to shift view with respect to how we think, because then challenges become opportunities. Because that might is more of a challenge to test how far you can push yourself than what must I do, or how
what can I do?
do.
Can is very
Helpless.
constrained.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I cannot do that and I can that. No. How might I? That intrigues like, that sounds sneaky. Like, I have a cunning plan.
Oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no, you did not. Yeah.
And stroke the cat. And sorry, that's an inside joke to the listeners. But it's about, because the perspective comes, if you keep seeing Africa as a continent with little or no hope, with little opportunity, with nothing to happen here, then that's your reality. You know, like Henry Ford said, you know, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right. So if you believe I live in an environment where there are no opportunities, then that's your reality.
Let's talk about exposure.
Yes.
I'm thinking COP from 27 onward. We spoke about the just transition, greener energy. However, when one isn't exposed to green energy, it appears the enemy. And I've found that very many aren't exposed to newer platforms for employment. Let's use something practical, content creating. People think it's a hobby. There are people who are coining it really well from content creating. Not everybody should become a content creator, but it almost feels as though there is, to an extent, a lack of exposure. And it isn't because you don't have the platforms. It's because you don't know. You don't know about the content creation space, because in your mind, the person who's come onto your screen is simply entertaining you. And you haven't been taught that this person actually makes money from you watching.
I think they know they make money.
Really?
Well, they're very aware of that.
Content creation, I'm thinking about green energy. I'm thinking about other digital landscapes that we aren't necessarily maximizing on.
Okay. That's a very good question, especially on the green thing. And people don't care about green energy. They don't care about the environment. That's a first world problem. If you're hungry and you don't have money or a place to stay, that is last on my agenda.
That is true.
Yes. So that is a challenge that we have. And people know what they can do, but they believe that they lack things. And that's why the question of how might I? When you go, okay, so this guy makes money creating videos. How might I? That's a good question that you can lead into that. And that's the great thing about entrepreneurial thinking. Because most people believe that they don't have agency. I can't do this, I don't have this and everything else. But if you look ahead, and it's in the shape of a compass, first you have flow forward. What's the next small step you can do? What's the doable now? Then you look at the adjustability. What do I need to start doing? Okay, do I need to stop being entertained and looking at videos on how to create content and make money out of it? What do I need to stop doing? Stop watching useless videos. Okay, what do I need to change in what I'm doing? But then you also look at the emotional thing. Okay, you need to accept your environment. That's the bounce back ability. Yes, it's tough. Yes, I work 8 hours a day and then I have to do this at night. But then you look at your resources and you have so much. I mean, if I compare how easy it is to start a business today compared to when I started 25 years ago. I mean, I'm in an online space now for 29 years. You know how cheap it is to build a website now and start an online store. You can do it through WhatsApp Business. You have all the tools. You have access to the world. But it starts with a question. And once you go through that entrepreneurial thinking framework, you learn that you have agency. And agency is about, I make a decision that this is where I am today and that's where I want to be tomorrow. And the youth have it in them. I've seen it time and time again. The youth have the potential. Africa can be the most wealthiest continent in the world if people start applying themselves and just start asking the right question of how might we? And that can be in a familial context, a village context, a tribal context. How might we? Stop looking to the leaders to fix things. Stop looking at the government. Ask yourself, how might I?
The voice there of Willen Gous, bringing us to 11 minutes before the show comes to an end. Listen, if you don't have notes, I was taking some, but I don't think you'll be able to use mine. They're all over the place. So please watch the podcast on YouTube. This particular conversation looking at the youth populace in the next 10 years. Willen Gous is an entrepreneurial thinking expert, and we had him for 2 sessions long. Thank you so much for joining us, Willem.
Anytime. I love it. And thank you for having me. And